I would be saying this because I thought Tony Gonzalez was going to result to some bullshit again. Yeah, more bullshit than a girl until she kills herself. We'll see about that. But Brandon Herrera won the election and is joining Congress. This is insane. In 2026, we finally have a person in Congress who we know will fight for our right to have America to turn back to normal. Huge W's to Brandon Herrera. Huge W's to the unsubscribed content boys. That is dope.
What's going on, guys? How was your week?
Yep.
Before we get too mired down in the details, I'm just going to cut right to the chase. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Embattled Congressman Tony Gonzalez is announcing that he will not seek re-election this November.
So on March 3rd,
it's crazy it took this long to get here.
Primary election, where I took Tony Gonzalez to what was essentially a rematch. A rematch of the last election where he narrowly defeated me in a runoff by 4.
God, bro, can we talk about how much sexual energy Brandon Herrera just oozes right here? Versus like this fucking earthworm Jim looking fucking chud. What the fuck are we even looking at, by the way? By the way, the last time Brandon lost, Tony Gonzalez spent 10 times the money that Brandon Herrera self-funded. Good God, bro. This guy literally looks like a fat alien stole human skin and peeled it over his face.
400 votes. This time, though, we beat him.
Yep.
Neither one of us got over 50% of the vote, though, so this was destined to go into a runoff election like it did last time. But I do want to point out that our performance in the first stage, the first primary, our performance was almost double of what it was last time.
Huge.
But again, none of that really matters if nobody achieves over 50%, because if nobody gets over 50, then the person that came in first and second place then go into a runoff election.
Gonzalez was forced into a May runoff against Brandon.
God, bro, look at that photo. God damn, that is my congressman. Holy shit.
Herrera.
Or at least, that's what was going to happen. Because 2 days after the election, faced with mounting criticisms as well as having to face his first ever defeat in his political career, Tony posted this, declaring that he was dropping out of the race.
Yep.
We have late breaking news just into the KSAT newsroom. We have just learned that Congressman Tony Gonzalez will not seek re-election. He is dropping out of the runoff race.
So, we did it, boys. Tony's career is coming to a close, and I am now the GOP nominee for Texas District 23. Now, there's probably a lot of missing context here. And of course, we still have the fight against the Democrats in November, so we can't get complacent now. But I did want to make this video for you, my audience, who has been here for me through thick and thin. So with that, let's do a quick recap. All the way back in 2023, at the Young Americans for Liberty convention, I announced that I was taking a major step, that I was throwing my hat into the ring to run against my congressman, Tony Gonzalez.
It is so refreshing to see someone who's going to be a part of Congress who isn't 10,000 years old. It's so nice, man. You know, it really is nice seeing someone who's not, you know, maybe 5 years away from being like a fucking literal zombie.
To try to get him out of office. Now, my problems with Tony started when I learned that as a Republican, he was voting for Democrat-led gun control.
Insane.
But I quickly learned of his other votes. Against securing the border, against the Constitution, and how many millions of dollars he was taking from special interests.
Well, yeah, because he was a plant. He was 1,000,000% a plant.
Ultimately, I was worried that if I didn't get involved, my congressman would continue to vote and act this way with no consequences.
Yep.
So I looked at our Republican primary and I jumped into the ring. Something I have some experience with.
Here in a sec. Oh, nice jab.
Wait, did Brandon Herrera boxed? When the fuck did this even happen?
I had no political experience, no grassroots team, at least in the beginning. We had to earn every single vote across the district. And even back then, we did succeed in our goal of dragging Tony below 50%, which put me in a one-on-one race against him.
Insane.
In this primary, they spent millions of dollars slandering me as a neo-Nazi.
True.
That's coming back.
Yep.
Veteran hater, literally anything they could do to defame my character, instead of doing the one thing that
Calling Brandon Herrera a veteran hater is just about the biggest lie I've ever heard in my entire life.
I wanted to do, which is talk about the issues. And despite being out...
Wait, Brandon Herrera was a part of Creator Clash 1? How did I never notice that? What? We should go back and watch that fight.
spent something like 10-1 against one of the best funded, best entrenched Republican incumbents in the entire state of Texas. We only lost by a heartbreaking 407 votes.
Yep.
And as much as it sucks to lose, I was happy going back to my day job, running my businesses, making shitty videos for you all. I was living the dream. But because Tony continued to fail the district, because he continued to take that shady money, because he continued to refuse to take accountability, amongst a few other things that we'll get to here in a second, I decided to put my dream life aside momentarily again to run against him. And
I mean, guys, I'm not gonna lie. Like, Brandon Herrera is being a congressman strictly for the love of the game, because Brandon is a fucking multi-millionaire where all he has to do is make a YouTube video like once every month and then talk on a show once a week, right? He ain't doing this because it's like a big career opportunity. I mean, this is an entirely self-funded man. You know, like, bro could just sit back, relax, the easy life. He's doing this just because he actually cares, which I wish more people were like this.
To win, once and for all. So last year at the Gun Owners of America Goals Convention, I announced that I was jumping back in for a rematch. I'm here to announce that I am running for Congress in District 23 to finish what I started.
Awesome.
The comparison that I made that, I mean, aged like fine wine, was to Rocky 2. Because in Rocky 1, Rocky doesn't actually win against Apollo Creed. It was their rematch in Rocky 2 when the rough around the edges kid off the street finally beats the current champ.
Well, fucking spoilers, man. I've never seen this shit, and you what the fuck? Can we say spoiler warning? God, well, now it's fucking over.
And since that day in August, we have been all over the district,
Fuck.
talking to voters, doing debates, doing all the things that Tony Gonzalez failed to do. This is where you come in the picture. You guys were amazing through all this. You really were.
If anybody spoils the ending of World War II to me, I'm gonna be pissed, bro. I need to know what happens to Hitler. I need to know what happens to Hitler, because I got slightly spoiled. Somebody kills Hitler, I bet that guy's awesome. Whoever Hitler's killer is has to be the fucking man.
You guys were incredibly supportive when I had to take a little bit of time off from time to time between videos to, handle campaign stuff. We had multiple giveaways for guns, for trips to range days, and basically you guys helped us fundraise and push through the millions of dollars that the big guns of the establishment threw at us. All while not taking money from the huge DC special interests, the big super PACs, none of that. It was just you and I. I mean, myself personally, I think I threw just over $500,000 of my own money into this race.
That's insane.
Which, be honest with you, really painful to do. I did not just have that laying around.
Yep.
But I thought it was really important to show you that I was willing to put my money where my mouth is. After all, how can I ask you to help me if I'm not willing to make sacrifices of my own and pull my own weight?
True.
So while it was painful, it was enough. We won. But speaking of recovering from that, big thanks to PDS Dad for sponsoring this video.
Yeah, sponsor. So, yeah, in case you don't know, Brandon fucking won, and there's actually a surprise update that I want to show you guys for this video for the Brandon Herrera Donald Trump situation. Donald Trump tweeted out a public endorsement of Brandon Herrera. Yes, our president, Donald J. Trump, tweeted out, "Today, I am endorsing American First Patriot Brandon Herrera, who is running to represent the wonderful people of Texas' 23rd Congressional District. Brandon is strongly supported by many highly respected MAGA warriors in Texas and Republicans in the U.S. House. As your next congressman, he will work tirelessly to advance our Make America Great Again agenda. Brandon will fight hard to grow the economy, cut taxes and regulations, advance made in the USA, unleash American energy, dominance, safeguard our elections, champion school choice, keep our border secure, stop migrant crime, support our brave military, veterans, and law enforcement, and protect always under C's Second Amendment. Brandon Herrera has my complete and total endorsement to be next representative from Texas' 23rd Congressional District. He will never let you down." Amazing. Let's make America great again. And what's crazy about this post is We are now one layer of separation from Donald J. Trump being on the Unsubscribed podcast, which would blow my fucking mind. Congratulations to the Unsub boys. Congratulations to Brandon Herrera. And congratulations to America for having an incredible new congressman, GOP of 23, the fucking GOAT, Brandon Herrera. Congratulations, man. The Donald Trump, Brandon Herrera situation is insane. What a timeline.